Welcome. We bid you welcome. John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad, coming to you from my music corner of the world to my below here from the Music Nut program. John, the Music Nut, how you doing, my friend?
I'm a rebel. Come on. How are you guys?
And probably have seen him on if you've taken time to watch Grant's Rock Warehouse off and on over the last however what year or more or
2 years now.
so, two
two
years.
years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ian Bolt, Byron Bolt, how you doing, my friend? Welcome to my music corner.
Good. Good. Ready to talk some accept here.
Yes. Byron told me Byron told me this is the first show he's done that has not been on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He told
Welcome.
he yeah he told me that off air or before you got on. He was like, "Yep, I've never. This is the first time I've done anything outside of Grant's channel." So there you go. So what an album to start him off with. So I'll flash up the CD version here, and then I came across the a vinyl version here. This is not a Brain Records version. This is actually a Polydor issue on this one. But yeah, we're gonna talk. Except I'm a Rebel, the second album that the band releases. Again, there is no chart action to speak of. But it was released on June 2nd of 1980. However, it was recorded at the end of 1979. From October to December of 1979 in Delta Studio, Wilster, West Germany. Producer was Dirk Steffens. Um, Very interesting. That's an interesting thought. They recorded this at the end of the year, but it took them about 6 months to release it. That's a little odd, don't you think?
Absolutely.
What do you
Very.
think, Byron?
When did the first album get released? It's like would be a question. Maybe
Well,
they
the
wanted to
first,
space it out.
yeah, maybe it was recorded. Well, it was released in '79, but I just noticed it was there was like 6 months between them recording it and when it actually got released. Again, maybe that's just the Brain Records thing, the smaller label. Maybe they just didn't have the funds to put it out. Who knows? Anyway, it
Right.
just seemed like some of the pre stuff we saw. They were recording like almost up to 2 or 3 months before it gets released or something like that. But anyway, as we normally do with these shows, when we have the guest on, we turn it to the guest first to let them give us their point of entry into the band Accept, and then we're going to let him Byron take over his thoughts on I'm a Rebel. So Byron, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, the first time I heard accept was on the radio and the DJ was saying something about, oh, these guys kind of sound like AC/DC. And I'm like, and I guess back then I thought, yeah, I can hear that, but nowadays I don't know that I hear it as much. But so the first thing I heard was balls to the wall, and I'm like, yeah, that does sound like ACDC, but you could say the same thing about Crocus at times back then. And, but, now I can hear the difference. Although, well, Long Stick Goes Boom is totally ACDC,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah. Uh, so I bought shortly after that, I bought Balls to the Wall, and then I kind of started working backwards and picking up all the early stuff. And it's kind of funny because in '85 they came to town, and I'm pretty sure they were opening for Crocus, and they came to a local record store in town to do an autograph signing. So I went to that, and I got my Restless and Wild autograph by the whole band.
Neat.
Very nice.
I've sold off all of my ACDC, or except at some point in my life, except that one. I kept that one, and I've gotten a couple back here and there. But so yeah, so I technically got to meet them and get that signed, and then that was I got it written. That was April 20th of 1985, and then June 27th, so just a little over 2 months later, they came to town. They were opening for Maiden on the Power Slave tour. So I went to that. So I
I
did see them.
I saw that tour on June 1st of '85. So yep.
Okay, so not too far apart. So yeah, so I did get to see them back in their heyday as well. Um, So the I'm a Rebel album looks like they had gotten a new drummer and guitarist. The drummer Stephen Kaufman and George Fisher on second guitar. I think that the production on this album is a little stronger than on the first album. Um, I think Udo's vocals have a lot more power as well. They seem kind of like they seem a little distant sounding on the first album. It seemed like I don't know, just not as powerful. And I hear some Scorpions influence on the first album quite a bit. Early Scorpions influence. Uh, I hear a little bit of it on this album we're going to be talking about, but not nearly as much. It seems like. I think they were a little bit confused on this album. Now, you guys may have discussed that about the first album too, but this album, I thought the first album was a little heavier, and that this album, it's not a lot less heavy, but I think they're throwing a few things in here. Okay, I'm going to come right out and say it. There's some things in here that sound disco. Okay, you guys might be wanting to talk about that as well, but there's just a couple times here and there where it's like, yeah, this doesn't seem quite as heavy. Like they got distracted or something, you know, or people were pulling them in different directions. But yeah, uh, so you know, some of the songs on here are pretty heavy, others not so much. But then you get the songs where Peter Boldt sings, which are very laid back and mellow, similar to the first album where he sang. I think he's got a really good voice though. Um, their lyric, I'm not a big lyrics guy, but I was trying to kind of follow some of the lyrics on some of these songs, and I feel like I don't know if it's a language barrier thing, or you know, maybe they write it in German and then they try to translate it to English, and it just doesn't quite work out as well. But I just thought some of the lyrics were a little odd here and there. But I did think this album was almost a little bit of a step back from their first album. But the next album, Breaker, I thought it's much more of a step in a heavier direction for them. They just seem kind of not sure, I think, where they were going on this album. But you want me to go over the songs now?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
takes? Okay.
Go ahead and do
And
your
I
song
hope
for
I'm not stealing everybody's thunder here. But
Nah.
so the first track, I'm a Rebel. It's a really, it's like it's to me, it's a fast rocking anthem with the gang vocals. There's this weird German accent, I feel like, in those gang vocals too. But Udo's in really good form on this track. Uh, the track was written by um, Alex Young, or George Alexander, he goes by, and um, he's one of the older young brothers from ACDC fame.
Yep.
And apparently, ACDC even recorded it. Some members of ACDC recorded it, but it's never been released. I found it. I was reading about it, and man, they had a big family. And I think the oldest, Stevie, whose son is now in the ACDC, and the youngest kid, there's like 22 years difference in ages between the oldest and youngest kids. So, and there was like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 kids in the family. It's crazy. But yeah, but I think I'm a Rebel's a really strong track on here. Real easy to sing along to, you know, and tap your toes to. Um, Next song is Save Us. I think it rocks pretty good. With It's not overly heavy, but it still rocks pretty good. I like it, but I don't know what the hell he's singing about. So that was one of the tracks. I was like, it's something about, I don't know, good and evil, maybe. I don't know. Uh, I thought the lyric, the verses at time kind of gave me like a Midnight Mover feel, the way he's delivering the lines. But but this is one of the tracks that kind of gets a little disco-ish at times. It's that bass, that you know, and but then you get Peter comes in and sings in the chorus, and it sounds really good. And there's some good solo in there with a wah pedal, and it kind of reminds me of Uli Roth because he's doing a lot of like Uli type dive bombs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a really, pretty good song too. The next track is written by the producer Dirk Steffens, "No Time to Lose." Peter sings it, and the thing about it, when he sings, I like his voice, but it's almost like, okay, this is a completely different band. I mean, because the songs are completely different than anything else that they're recording, and his voice is just totally different than Udo. It's like this is this really the same band? But like I said, I still enjoy the stuff he sings. But it's a very mellow track, a little heavier chorus. I get a little bit of a Schenker vibe in the solo. I think there was like some harmonized uh, classical type thing going on there, from what I remember. Um, but I didn't think it was a really that great of a song. Thunder and Lightning is the next track. So this is the end of the first side. It's pretty heavy rocker. It's got a nice melodic chorus. Uh, oh, maybe this was the song with the. This has got the I wrote harmony guitar solo, so that might have been the one I was thinking about. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong about it. I thought this song kind of reminded me a little bit of an '80s Scorpion song.
I can
Cool,
hear
but
that.
I think I mentioned the Scorpions a lot here, but I think they were heavily influenced by the Scorpions and maybe a little bit of Michael as well. Um, so now side two.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, Byron, just to let you know, when we did the debut, I said Scorpion, compared them to Scorpions many times when I talked, many times, more than you are now.
Yep.
That's what I was. I hadn't seen the first one yet since it hasn't technically been released. So
Yeah,
like,
but
well, hopefully,
see it. I
yeah,
say Scorpions on almost every song.
yeah.
Very true.
But all right, so let's go on side two. China Lady. I like this one. This is another heavier track. I kind of like some of the guitar lines that they're playing in there. Um, uh, Once again, I'm hearing some Uli John Roth type dive bombs. Um, Next track, I Want to Be No Hero. Here's what I wrote down. The band's trying way too hard to write a hit. I said it's very tame. And then now the disco beat is back again. Uh, I I I kind of feel like they were listening to "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss at some
Yeah.
point here. So, and then you hear some hand clapping, which whatever, that's fine. But I wrote it's just kind of a forgettable track. Next track, "The King," which is another uh, Peter ballad. This song is really good. I think this was one of the this is one of the songs that really stands out to me. Even before I hadn't listened to this for a while before we came up with this idea, and one of the first songs I thought about was, "Oh, the King's on that," because I've always liked that track. Good power ballad. Uh, Lots of layered acoustic guitars in this. One of the better songs on here, I think. And then the final track, "Do It." I wrote it's pretty much an average song. I kind of like the main guitar lick riff in here is not that great. I thought, and the chorus isn't good. I didn't think it, but I kind of liked Udo's verses. Um, Solo was pretty good, but I just thought that for an album finale, this was not a good choice. Well, that sums up my review of the album. Do you want me to give it a score like we
Yeah,
did?
give it a score out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 6.5.
6.5.
6.5.
All right. Now, before John gets started, I have to show this picture because uh there if you're on social media, you probably have seen this old picture of the Scorpions from like the 70s.
I saw that just the other day.
Klaus has the Daisy Dukes on and
The white
amongst others.
boots.
Oof. I mean, okay, so let's just zoom. Let me just pull this up there. So, what do you think? Is Udo trying to look like Grant cross with Tom G. Warrior here?
That's Udo with hair.
Yeah, that's
long
Udo with the
hair?
crosser. Yeah, with the long hair.
Wow.
I
Yeah, I'd
mean,
never seen that.
anybody did you happen to see that old picture of Grant when he was like teaching
Yes.
etiquette
Yeah,
from
he had
his
hair.
and when he had hair? Well, there you go. There's but yeah,
Well, I mean, Udo always had hair back in the day, right? He just had like a real short haircut.
mostly yeah, he eventually buzzed it
Now
off,
he's bald.
but yeah, but yeah, it's so weird to see him with that kind of with that mane of hair on him. But so all right. 6.5. Thank you, Brian. Much appreciated on that. John, your
All
turn.
right. Thanks, guys. Interesting thing. about these albums. Now, this is the first album that we discussed last week. Interesting, like these are the Icarus Records reissues. You look at the inside of the gatefold for the self-titled debut, and that's I'm a Rebel.
Whoops.
And so here's I'm a Rebel from Icarus. Also, I'm a Rebel inserts. I don't know what happened there.
Oopsie.
I believe the original vinyl copy my original vinyl copy back in the day that I bought was that cover with the sword handle, but it didn't say Rhyme a Rebel at all. It just, I think, said accept on it. And it was kind of confusing as to it's the first album or second album. I wasn't really sure, but anyway.
Exactly. So, all right. Better production from Dirk Steffens. Guitars are reined in. As Byron said, band's still trying to find her sound. But they're getting there. Different, but interesting. Much better production. I cannot stress that enough. Let's go through the tracks. Oh, a few other things. Udo finding his voice as a vocalist. Wolf finding his sound as a guitarist. Not as many Ole John Rothisms on this album as the debut. The trademark gang vocals, not here yet, but there are gang vocals on the title track, I'm a Rebel. George Alexander, George Young wrote this song. It does sound a lot like AC/DC. Cool anthem. They're doing this as an encore on their tour in 2024. Something for both of us to look forward to, John. So Udo finding his voice, plays like AC/DC, simple, catchy as sin, very easy to sing along with. Good way to start off the album. Save Us. Yes. Disco. Funk bass on here. Who knew that Peter could do funk bass so well? When I listen to this song, it sounds like a good deep cut from an album that Pat Benatar would have done at the time. Can you imagine Pat Benatar singing this song? Tell me it doesn't work. Pat Benatar could sing this and do it well, and we'd be like, oh, it's a good song. That's what it sounds like to me. I can hear this on Crimes of Passion or Precious Time or Get Nervous.
Jamie Laszlo, if you're watching this, comments, buddy, comments.
Yes, please, Jamie.
I'd have to listen to it again and put Pat Benatar in my head while I'm listening.
Yeah, especially that chorus. You think I can hear
Well, where Peter's singing, yeah.
Right, exactly. Where Peter's singing, think of Pat Benatar singing that. The bridge is good. The lyrics are improving. Wolf's solos, definitely improving. Again, it plays more like an AOR deep cut. No Time to Lose. Another well-sung power ballad from Peter Baltis. Feels like a Foreigner song until Wolf's guitar solo kicks in. Then it really improves. But you got those oohs in the chorus. You know, that's not Accept, you know, but it is a solid track. Thunder and Lightning, the first song that really sounds like Accept. I listen to this now. I think Mark can sing this in Accept today. And
I
maybe
would love to hear him sing this, actually.
the diehards would know it, but Mark Chernillo could sing this. This is very good. This is wicked. I like this song a lot. Now they sound like Accept is what I wrote down here. There is little 80s studio flourishes with the echo in there, but the playing behind the solo is really cool. Good sing-along chorus. I like this a lot. This might be my favorite track on the album. China Lady, which would open side 2. Cool circular riff. Musically, the pre-chorus is really strong. There is some more Uli John Roth in the solo, though, that I will say. It does play the Scorpion song which I said a lot on our first episode. It does play a lot like Scorpions, but they're finding their sound here. So yeah, I dig it. I want to be no hero. Disco rock, not their foundation. I think somebody else could have did this song and did it better and did something with it. It's not a bad song. It's just not Accept. I can see some pop act doing this. It's well written, but it's just not Accept. Like you were saying last week, John, about Accept throwing things at the wall and seeing what was sticking. That's kind of the vibe I got on I'm a Rebel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The King. We got Peter's second power ballad here. Well done. Lyrically, they're improving. Nice little bass fills here from Peter on the song as well. I could see, again, maybe another band having success with it, but this is a little closer to their foundation, but it still kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Peter Baltus is a very good vocalist.
Yeah.
When you hear Peter's vocals, he sounds American. He doesn't
Really
sound
does.
German. Decent song. Do it. Okay, closer. Feels like AOR, but with more bite to it. Lyrically, we're kind of getting back to the first album where they were singing about like relationships and stuff like that. It just isn't their thing, but it's not terrible, but it's just not Accept. But again, we got some nice counter bass lines on this as well. So this album, I will tell you, at one point I thought this was their worst album, but I don't anymore. It is interesting at times. Maybe they took 2 steps forward and a step back because the guitars are so reined in. It doesn't sound like a metal album. That will come next time out. I give this a 6 out of 10.
All right. That's a step up from last week.
Yes, that's
so
I'm gonna have to watch that one whenever that comes out.
It's coming. All right. So
every Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, and Peter Curry, you know what time that comes out in your neck of the woods in Australia. So, yeah, I have no idea.
10 in the morning the next day, I think.
Yeah, something like that. So let me put this out to you. This cover or this cover? What do you think? For the more preferred cover.
That's the back cover.
Ah, you're right.
Either scream, I'm a rebel.
You're right.
Right.
Except the song titles are in there, instead of the picture. But
exactly.
Anyway, I will say though, this did really. I had picked this up at a record show some time ago, and I finally got around to listening to the vinyl. I admit it really sounded really nice on this vinyl copy. Sounded really nice, so nice. I will give them that prop. But okay, I'm a Rebel. Who else would like to hear the Bon Scott AC/DC led version of this song?
I thought I read that Bond maybe didn't even sing the lead vocals on that though, so it's nobody knows anymore.
Nobody really knows, but yeah. Whatever Wolf heard, he thought, "My God, why did they pass this up?" But
he said he thought the AC/DC version was better than theirs.
Yeah. Another band who I could have heard do this song and do it well, Rose Tattoo.
Yes.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Angry singing that song?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's nothing to say about this song. It really is a fun song. You easily could have fit in the AC/DC wheelhouse. It's a the video is just a stage performance pretty much. Nothing fancy. Again, seeing Udo with hair is the weirdest thing in the world, but it's still a fun track. And of course, seeing Wolf trying to be the guitar hero while playing and singing at the same time and singing into Udo's mic and all, it's fun. But yeah, I could so hear Rose Tattoo doing this song. Very, very much so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, save us. I really had to double check. I almost thought they had some female backing vocals on that bridge. I didn't realize I forgot that was Peter.
Mm.
And then he just obviously must have layered it with a couple of other vocal, but um boy, yeah, that bass line is moving. That is one disco flavored uh uh bass line going on there. Goodness gracious.
My wife
Um
even noticed that when I said, "What does this sound like?" She goes, oh, "That's totally disco."
Yeah, I mean, just to me, just another moving track. You got some good guitar work going on here, but yeah, you get this kind of like this battle of good and evil kind of thing, and the people just basically saying, "Hey, save us from this evil stuff that's coming." Apparently, if they forgot that, what was it in '79 that they had the disco sucks thing and they blew up the turntable and all that stuff, but I guess they must have missed that. But anyway, still not catchy track.
It's not
For
bad.
for all it's worth, it is a catchy track. Um, yeah, No Time to Lose, another ballad here sung by Peter. Definitely one of those sadness and desperation over the lost relationship kind of thing, which we kind of felt a little bit of that in the first album. Super good, tasty lead playing here. You got the Dirk, basically written by Dirk. Even though the album I think credits the band with Dirk, but I think Wiki kind of narrowed it down to just Dirk.
Okay.
Um, Thunder and Lightning, I agree. This is where they really found themselves a little bit more. You got a good gallop in the music. You got Udo's voice. You got some really nice guitar interplay going on here. I was really impressed with that. Um, Good way to end the side. I thought it was a good side ender. Flip it over. You go to China Lady. To me, another kind of an AC/DC like rocker. With that urgent brief counter incident type of thing is, again, kind of harkening back to that first album a little bit lyrically.
Mm.
So, okay, opener, not side opener, but not as strong as what we will see in the future here. I want to be no hero. Boy, you got that disco like. So again with the disco stuff. Okay, here's where my brain went. I was thinking like from the Inside era of Alice Cooper.
Mm. Yeah.
Byron, what do you think about that?
I'm not a big Alice Cooper guy. I
Okay.
mean, I'm more of
Okay.
a '70s Cooper guy.
Well, that was
So
that was 78. So
yeah, I'm more of original
the early
Alice
stuff.
the
Okay.
band. Yeah,
Well,
so
to
I don't
me,
have
I
much
don't
of
know.
the
To me,
70s stuff.
this kind of screamed from the Inside era for some reason. I don't know why. That's what my head heard. Um, again, that whole, hey, I'm happy to sacrifice myself for you, but don't make me out to be the hero kind of thing. But I that whole disco feel of this song kind of it can be a little distracting at times, and I'm glad they kind of got away from doing this. Um, King, another nice ballad, Paul Peter sung song here, basically the fallen leader redemption kind of song. I thought it was a really strong track. You if you could imagine, say, a modern metal Euro metal band maybe taking this and doing something strong with it, like some of these power metal bands that have those acoustic tendencies. I bet somebody could really have some fun with this one. Do it. You guys said it pretty well. It's an okay to end the album, but nothing really very new album flavored to me. Almost got a feeling of what you would hear out of Def Leppard. That's kind of what I got a little bit, but because obviously Leopard hadn't come out really yet at this point. I think On Through the Night was about to come out, but to me, that's what you would kind of hear. But um, I'm kind of on par with, I don't know, this is a little bit more listenable for me, even though there's so many weird disco stuff involved with this. I just feel like I would reach for this one a little bit more than I would the first album. So I think I only gave it a 6.5 last week, but I think I'm gonna go 6 and 7 750, 6 3/4.
3/4.
Just to mess with everybody's mind. I'm going to completely screw everybody up, and I'm going to go 6 3/4 with this one. But it's not a bad album. a little bit a little bit more. Probably would reach for this one a little bit more than the first one, but probably not by much. So we'll we'll see how this ages on me. So but there you go. That what we got there. So John, what kind of what did they have any kind of tour dates and stuff and that they played around the area, or what you got for us?
Well, as that great Harry Nielsen song later done by Three Dog Night would tell you, one is the loneliest number that you can ever do. They did one date, according to Setlist FM now.
Right.
They probably did more, but that there's only one date listed, and that's at Dorpshoog in Runeworld, Netherlands. They didn't have a set list on here. It didn't just have that they played the date. Played on this tour I'm a Rebel, which is by far the most played song off this album. Save Us, The King, Do It, China Lady, and Thunder and Lightning. There you go. They should bring Thunder and Lightning back in. I would love to hear them do this live again. But
okay,
that's all I got.
Wolf, if you watch this video, hey, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Thunder and Lightning, just bring it out for us instead, you know.
And Lidditz, Pennsylvania, because I know Nick
and Lidditz.
Going to see you there.
That's right. So
that's the day before Stroudsburg.
So if we could do a request, there you go. We'll do that.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, there you go, guys. So we have at the second episode here of what I guess what we're going to call this Up to the Limit. And we'll talk about Accept here for the remainder of the year. Of course, there's the other album cover for that. So Byron, what kind of stuff have you what can we be seeing you with Grants Rock Warehouse? Like what kind of shows can we promote for
Well, we're gonna all be doing that Cracks episode volume 2, but that's gonna be live before you see this.
Right. Yeah, that'll happen. This episode will come out on the 8th of September, so we got a little ways to go.
Actually, it's gonna come out on the
this episode, or not what am I saying? I'm getting my dates mixed up. This one comes out on 9/11, and then the Crack show that'll be on Labor Day. So yeah,
September 2nd. And I don't remember, we're doing a 1983 show on there too, but I didn't write that down yet either. I think that's going to be like Don,
the 16th.
16th. There you go. That sounds right.
16, and that's 9/16, 2024, Monday night, 8 p.m. That's live.
That's a live one. Those shows are a blast, folks. If you go to Grants Rock Warehouse, please chime in and tell us what your favorite 1983 tracks are. Those are really some fun shows. So Byron, I'm gonna put you. Another thing I'm gonna put you on the spot with here real quick. What's been your favorite show that you've done on Grant's channel so far? Like what is like the one standout show that if somebody was to go on Grant's channel and look up, which one would you want to point them to that you thought was your favorite?
Well, we're doing that Zappa series, but I don't know. There's been so many of those that I don't know if anything jumps out at me a whole lot. But I think the funnest thing I've done on there was a week or two ago. We did that list. It was last week, a week ago today. We did. It was Grant and I's roughly our birthdays, and we had a listening party, and we played whatever the hell we wanted. There was no format. We just picked whatever we wanted. And, some of it was stuff that we'd talked about on the show or are going to be talking about. But we just pulled out all kinds of stuff. And it was great. People were, having a good time commenting and hearing these songs that they just were like, wow, wasn't expecting that, And I thought it was just great. So
that's cool.
Especially the Glenn Hughes disco song we did. People were, what the hell is that?
Wow, I didn't know he went down that rabbit hole.
Wow.
I wasn't watching it that time. Wow.
How about that? Well, there you go. So that
was fun.
So, we'll give Grant a little bit of love. You know, he's got a gazillion things on his channel, so you know he's always putting product out, so or in content out. And then if he's when he's not doing stuff with the Contrarian, so there you go. Of course, John's got his channel that he's cranking up with Smithereens Saturday kicking into full gear. So and then whenever he throws something else out there to the public, it's a little different than what you would hear him talk about here on my music corner. But you know, hey, maybe one of these days we'll when we do these tag team things, we'll really do something that will just blow everybody away. It's like,
Yeah.
I would never have expected that from you guys. But hey, that's what we all like, right? And what's your catchphrase, John?
Do what you love, and I'll talk to you soon.
That's right. That's right. So that's what we do. So for Mr. Byron Bolt, for John the Music Nut.
Thank you, Byron.
Yes, thank you, brother, for
Having
being
me.
on. This was a blast. Hopefully, we'll get you out of the Rock Warehouse a little bit more often. Of course, John.
Good to revisit this album, which I hadn't heard in a while.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, yep, for being Bolt, for John the Music Nut, John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad. We will see you next week for some breaker. What?
Yeah.
So we'll see you soon. Rock for everybody. Take care.